London. A British court ruled Tuesday that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will not be extradited immediately to the United States to face hacking and espionage charges, and that US officials must first provide assurances to British authorities that he would be able to rely on free speech protections and not incur the death penalty in a US trial. The UK High Court in London gave US officials 3 weeks to provide the assurances and said Assange would be able to appeal his extradition if those promises were not forthcoming. A decision on whether Assange will be granted a full appeal hearing has been pushed back to May 20th, provided the United States grants the assurances. Assange is expected to remain for now in London's Belmarsh prison, where he has been held since 2019. Legal experts expressed doubt that the United States would have much trouble providing the necessary assurances of not using the death penalty, which isn't even merited for the charges, and ensuring free speech protections. Speaking to reporters outside of the High Court, Stella Assange, Julian's wife, called the decision astounding. What the courts have done is to invite a political intervention from the United States to send a letter saying, "It's all okay," she said. The Biden administration should not issue assurances. They should drop this shameful case that should never have been brought. An indictment filed in Virginia accuses Assange, 52, of helping former Army Private Chelsea Manning hack into U.S. systems and obtaining thousands of pages of classified military records and diplomatic cables about the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq in 2010. Assange's supporters and several leading news organizations say that he was a journalist publishing damning information about U.S. actions abroad, and that his extradition and prosecution would set a legal precedent undermining the First Amendment. But in that event, Assange would then have a final opportunity to appeal his extradition to the European Court of Human Rights, based in Strasbourg, France. Nick Vamos, a London-based lawyer who previously oversaw extraditions at Britain's lead prosecutorial agency, noted that Assange's main arguments that his prosecution was politically motivated and an assault on journalism were dismissed. The High Court made clear that Assange was not being prosecuted for journalism or for exposing grave state crimes, but for hacking and then publishing the names of sources who were put in serious danger, he said. The US government would have little difficulty in providing these assurances, and Mr. Assange's extradition will finally be ordered, Vamos predicted. In a 66-page decision Tuesday, Judge Victoria Sharp rejected most of Assange's arguments, but found that he had a real prospect of success on 3 grounds: that his extradition would be incompatible with the freedom of expression, that he might face prejudice because of his Australian nationality, and that the current framework for his extradition inadequately protects Assange from the death penalty. US officials have never raised the prospect of the death penalty in Assange's case, and none of the criminal statutes under which Assange was indicted allow capital punishment. The court gave the US government 3 weeks to provide assurances that Assange would be permitted to rely on the First Amendment as part of his legal defense, that he would have the same free speech protections as any US citizen, that officials would not seek a death sentence, and that Assange's nationality would not prejudice his legal proceedings. The United States has never prosecuted a US citizen for publishing classified information, but seeks to prosecute Mr. Assange, said Barry Pollock, a US-based attorney for Assange. President Barack Obama commuted Manning's sentence in 2017 after she was convicted of Espionage Act and other offenses related to the WikiLeaks disclosures. Prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia disagreed on whether to file charges under the Espionage Act, a law that is typically used to charge sources who leak from inside the government, not the publishers who disseminate the information through their platforms.